to give people like my mom hope. And it was Roger. So as Sheila said, 20 years later, $16 million later, bringing the betting industry together with Major League Baseball, with a number of different industries, only Roger can do that. Competitors, friends, foes, it's Roger Magowitz. All getting together to pull together to give people hope. Pancreatic cancer is the deadliest disease, cancer, that exists. He's developed a network of the world's most renowned scientists and surgeons, researchers, not only dealing with trying to understand via clinical trials how to help current patients, but knowing that long-term early detection is the answer. So there is hope through early detection. And it comes back to one person defining the purpose of life. So when you leave this evening, you're probably going to be handed these little brochures that say, "Become a shepherd of hope." Now, I ask each of you to do a little self-analysis right now. What is your purpose? Hopefully your purpose is to give people hope. And I know nobody better to bet on it than Roger Magowitz. So please think about it. And Roger, on behalf of Kathy and I, Leggett and Platt, thank you so much for being Roger Magowitz.
Thanks, Carl, for that, laying the groundwork for what people need to do. You know, when we work, we think we're pretty successful. We think we work pretty hard. And how many times have you been in a room where you sit there and say, "Look, this isn't rocket science. We're not saving lives here. This is the betting business. Let's do it." Well, you should be very proud, because we have one of our compatriots that is saving lives. And when you work with them, you just you start working with them and you start thinking, well, you know, what's he doing? And his connections with people and what he gets other people to do is nothing short of genius. And I'm really proud to have him as a friend. I'm proud to even be getting asked by Sheila to speak a few words about him. And if you get to know Roger, you're gonna like him. The more you get to know him, you're going to like him better. As Carl said, what he's doing for everyone is a big deal. And it's amazing, the research that he has funded, and you have helped fund, are saving lives. 2 of the 3 regimens of the world on pancreatic cancer are by Dr. Von Hoff and Roger's research. So thank you, Roger. Thanks for having me here tonight. Thanks, Sheila, for inviting me to say a few words. And we hope you continue on that work, and we're going to support it. Thank you.
Well, I first wanted to say thank you to Furniture Today for honoring me, because I take it as a big honor. And of course, I'd like to give a shout out and congratulations to Shul's Home, Old Brick Furniture and Mattress, and Mattress World Northwest. When Sheila called me to discuss this, one of the first questions I asked Sheila was, who are some of the past recipients of this award? And she said, well, just folks like Jim McIndale, Gary Fazio, and Harry Cornell, who we recently lost. I hung up the phone and I started talking to myself, saying, they must have just run out of people to give awards to. So here I am. And then I got serious and said, what meaningful message could I talk about? And what knowledge can I transfer by coming up here? This industry has changed. The mattress industry has changed greatly. Mattress Firm bought my stores out 12 years ago. When I think about that, I think of myself a little bit as a dinosaur, and that makes me think of the Hank Williams song, Dinosaur. Most of my contemporaries, as they are sitting at the table, are either retired, unfortunately died, sold out, merged, or just went bankrupt. But let me tell you a little bit about myself that you've probably already heard. In 1982, I went working for mattress discounters for weekends and holiday sales. That went pretty well. About a year later, they asked me to go to Virginia Beach. I opened up stores there. They ultimately wanted to sell those stores, and I decided to buy those stores. Except one thing, I had no money. So what I wound up doing is maxing out my credit cards and literally bought the business on my credit cards. And all I was, as there's some people sitting in the audience, just a young dreamer with drive, passion, and balls. I was missing one key element. I really didn't know what I was doing. I later opened up stores in Atlanta and Arizona, and my Atlanta stores wound up going bankrupt, and that was one of life's best lessons. My mother, Seena, got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2000 and ultimately passed 5 months later. My head was scrambled, my world was turned upside down. I wound up selling my stores in Arizona. And with the loss of my mother, it became a very defining moment for me. I didn't know it at the time, but my calling was percolating, that aha moment that we all get. For that year, I wound up going into a depression. My mother was my world. I tried to figure out at 64 years old, why was she taken? The only answer I had in my head that was gonna make me feel peaceful was, for some reason, I decided that if she was taken, the reason was to empower me to help others. And in her memory, I wound up opening up the Seena Magowitz Foundation. I was really trying to figure out what this thing called life was really about. I often say no one is going to remember me for how many mattresses I sold or how many stores I had, but they would remember me for the lives I've saved, the lives I've changed, helped, and nurtured. You heard from a lot of really good industry speakers about how to navigate digital media, increase sales, and become better companies. But really, I'm up here to tell you the secret sauce that you didn't hear about today. And before I tell you what the secret sauce is, I just want to give you some facts. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men in the US will develop cancer in their lifetime. Talk about moving the needle in marketing. Those are really huge statistics. 50% of the population, basically at some point in their life, will have cancer. My passion became fighting the deadliest cancer. 1 in 59 men will get diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and 1 in 61 women will get diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. 62,000 Americans will be diagnosed with cancer, and over 50,000 will be lost. For all the stages of pancreatic cancer, the 5-year survival rate is still just a little bit over 11%. My role is somehow to deliver hope to people who are in their darkest moments in life. It's quite a privilege. Think of the audience that we have to work with. You work with your community, and when you get back to your community and you're charitable, work and business becomes a lot more meaningful to the consumer. The consumer understands what we do. Being charitable and giving back has a very big tendency of breaking down barriers. One person can make a difference, and I am proof of that. One company can make a difference. Because it's not the size, it's the heart. Because of the generosity of this audience and the brilliant doctors that we work with, the Seena Magowitz Foundation has funded clinical trials that literally have led to the gold standard of care for all pancreatic cancer in the US. These are pretty big statements, and it's all been done through passion, purpose, and relationships. The home furnishings industry is the reason why my foundation exists. You go to your friends first. I've only had one job, and that's been mattresses. Dave Perry and now Sheila and Furniture Today have been very generous with their time, with their publication, and believed in what I did and believed in what I would do would make a difference. We've raised millions of dollars for clinical trials. And a lot of times you don't understand that it wasn't just the money that we raised, but because of the money that we raised, there's also been over $150 million in other clinical trials that wound up spawning off of ours. Big numbers for one person, and all it was a dream. Like Gary and Carl said, my job is to connect the dots. My job is to make relationships. There was a beautiful comment from Gary in Furniture Today, and he said, Roger is the ultimate connector. He's the highway connector for pancreas cancer beyond the bedding industry. Boy, what a compliment. Small things make a difference in what we do. Little things like people will say, how can we help? You can help us by liking Facebook. You can help us by becoming a shepherd of hope. We do silly things like we ask people to go on social media and say for my birthday, I want to make donations. We've raised tens of thousands of dollars by all those little things. I've basically been driven by a saying that I had, if not me, then who? And that's really what's happened. And the who is really everybody that's sitting in the room. If I haven't met you, boy, I would love to talk to you. Boy, I would love to work out a program with your company. Before I forget, I want to introduce a couple of people, so if you can't get me, you could get them, and I would just ask them to stand. Liz Macbeth is our COO. And Miranda Weinberg is our Director of Communications. We are really the voice for the folks that no longer have a voice. So I take this award really as an honor, and I certainly take this award as an opportunity and a platform to share with you what we do, and hope if you know me, let's continue what we do. And I don't care if it's a small business or a big business, but unfortunately cancer and pancreatic cancer are in front of us. We all have an opportunity to help the community, to help our business, and I think we could all do that together. So thank you, Furniture Today, for the honor. I feel privileged, and hopefully I'll get to know all of you in the room, and we'll raise more money for pancreatic cancer. Thank you.